So I took a little trip this past weekend. I'm actually getting this video out pretty quick. I went to the James Valley Threshing Show in Andover, South Dakota. I've been to a number of shows that have lots of tractors. The beginning here, I'm just showing some pictures. This is a really cool case. I don't know much about these older units. The unstyled kind of pre 39, I guess that was the big changes there. But pretty neat little unit, particularly when it comes to how the engine was situated. Some of the castings that were on this tractor. I think it was a 1020, so 10 draw or 10 PTO or 10 drawbar, 20 drawbar. I can't remember how the horsepower numbers work out. Uh, but what was really cool, like I said, is some of the castings you can see there. The lower frame casting, the engine's mounted in there sideways. Just been really cool. And the front axle, and if somebody has a explanation for how this front axle or why the front axle has a swing on it and the adjustment, that would be fantastic because I have no idea. In addition to tractors, they had things like this little yarn maker, which I have a video coming up here in just a second. And it was actually pretty cool. This describes it right there. Basically patented in the 1800s and just made yarn. So here's a video of it. In addition to really cool things like that yarn maker, if you followed the red yarn spool around, is they had custom jobs like this Alice Chalmers C. If you notice, I have pictures of lots of brands in here, even though I have a lot of John Deere on my channel. I really appreciate like all the work that went in this machine. This guy actually had several tractors there, and very interesting to look at how the tractors were put together and some of the stuff he had done. Just really cool to see all the work people put into their machines. And then this is a piece that we'll actually come back to in a little bit. I have a video of it running. It's actually a tilting grader. Just how this machine was assembled is absolutely amazing. It can offset. That's the hitch there. I probably spent a while going over all of the mechanisms on that machine. So in addition to cool things like that grader, one thing that I was a little shocked about is the number of machines they just kind of had chilling out in buildings. This 4620 John Deere, for instance, looks like it's been in this same spot for nearly a decade. Really nice tractor. It certainly deserves to be out in the sunshine, people to see. And I don't know if it just boils down to time or what. Another thing was this quarter scale sawmill. Really cool to watch it work. They were making like some planks or something. It basically it's all quarter scale. Really cool to watch and how they put everything together with the quarter scale and particularly with the steam engine. The star of the show, however, was this machine right here. If you have not read about it, I would encourage you to look up the 150 horsepower case. Corey Anderson recreated this machine. And there's a video later in this video of it plowing. Just really super impressive. I'll talk more about it in a little bit. This whole show had a number of steam engines, or steam traction engines, whatever you're going to call them. Really impressive to watch work. I certainly enjoy watching them. Particularly of the time when they were used for threshing and plowing and whatnot. I never did do a total count of steam engines or steam traction engines, whatever you're going to call them. But really cool to watch. This one, I really like the roller configuration compared to some of the others with just the four wheels. But anyway, we'll flip through these pictures and then we'll get to some videos of, particularly the video. The first one will be of the 150 horsepower case just in the parade, and there'll be a couple other parade videos. And then, star of the show is this dog kind of chilling out in the back of a golf cart, which I thought was cool.
Tractor, owned by Bruce Perkins. For 184 is a 1954 KIC model 230.
So in total, this show actually probably had one of the best parades for a show that I've seen in a while. It took almost a little over an hour to get through all of the machines. These are just some pictures of other machines there. The only other show that I've seen that I really liked the parade, similar to this, is the Albert City Threshing show in Albert City, Iowa. I went to that show several years and did not go this year. But that's another fun show to go to. This was really cool. This little unit here, Melrow, was kind of the first skid steer type machine. Very cool to see. And then here's a picture of the 150 horsepower case in the field. And so now I think we need to watch it plowing. So that was a video of that 150 horsepower case pulling a 24 bottom plow. Quite possibly one of the most impressive displays of horsepower that I have ever seen. Sure, there's bigger machines out there, there's more powerful, but the fact that this machine is a replica of a 150 horsepower case road locomotive from the early 1900s is just impressive. And as I mentioned, look it up. Corey Anderson built this machine from basically blueprints, cast all the parts. This is a replica. From what I've read, the only existing part of original 150 horsepower case road locomotive is the boiler, which was also at the show. No other parts are out there. So he had to build all of these parts. The rear wheels are, I think, 8 feet tall and weigh about 6,000 pounds apiece. Just really, really impressive, and certainly stole the show. And if you noticed in these next videos and previous pictures, notice the scale difference between this machine and these other traction engines. hopefully you picked up on the scale difference between that first 150 horsepower case and all the rest of those machines. This is just a picture looking down the plow line. You can see the smoke coming from all four of those traction engines. Just really impressive display of horsepower. If you have some time and you're from the Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota area, swing by. It's a great show. Spent all day there. Absolutely loved it. So here we're going to come back to the grader because had to get a video of that and really cool to watch it in operation.